Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another wonderful edition of the Writers in Our Midst program. My name is Sadie, and on behalf of the Port Moody Public Library, I am so happy to be here with a group of exceptional writers and exceptional poets this evening to listen to them do some readings, and I hope that you enjoy as well. So on that, I'm going to turn it over to Erik and to the group to introduce our readers for tonight and to get on with our readings. Hello, Erik.
Erik D'Souza, and this is Writers in Our Midst, number 18. It's Unleash the Poets Night. Many people for a while have been asking, when are you going to have a poetry night? And so long overdue, here it is. I'm personally a big fan of poetry. I used to call myself a poet, and then I joined the Port Moody Writers Group, met some real poets, and stopped writing it completely. I stick to prose now. I stick to my lane. So I'm happy to say that several of those poets who put me in my lane are here tonight, and also some new friends. I've met Elby. Our paths crossed several years ago, back when we could meet in person at Creative People Talking, and he's sort of always been on my radar. So he's our first guest tonight. So Elby Wordsmith lived his whole life in BC and now resides in Port Moody. He's been fascinated with poetry since high school class and has been writing seriously for the past 2 decades. He self-published his book of 75 poems, which is at the Port Moody and the Coquitlam Library. So, Elby, take it away.
Thank you. Poetry. It heals my soul, restores my vitality, purges my pain, floods me with hope, with contentment. Thus my poems have been written for me, not for you. Please accept my apology. Never expected to have an audience. So I'm delighted to have you here tonight. Thank you. Life is a roller coaster of emotions that I vainly strive to capture in mere words. Like you, I ride this roller coaster, savoring the clack, clack, clack. My car climbing towards elation, then plunging into the depths of despair. Speeding along its undulating track, will I hang on for dear life in this incredible journey we all call living? Elby Wordsmith is my pen name, usually known as Larry McIntosh. Most cherished is Dad, Pop, and Friend. You will each judge if my eclectic sample tonight has any merit. I have been astonished to find some has had an impact on minds and lives. When an 80-year-old bride at her reception with gentle tears asked, "How does he know how we feel?" Oh, love, I will read it tonight. A 16-year-old, estranged from her father for 2 years, wrote me, "I read your poem with friends. The next day, I read it to him. He read it back to me. Somehow it helped bring us together." Then an Australian charity for children of broken homes asked my permission to use it in one of the programs. A woman writing, "I wish someone would write this to me. I love it. It's just so humbling." Daughter pushed me to positive. Began writing herself. Now sometimes we write together. Such wonders I never imagined possible from my mere words. Come ride with me now, and maybe you feel my emotions. Oops, just threw away the first poem. Sorry. It's called Contentment. She comes softly to my pillow with a grace beyond compare. I can sense a fine, sweet feeling as I brush against her hair. In my arms she lies so quiet, with a warmth for only me, as I stroke her tender forehead and relax in luxury. For her presence brings me happiness, her scent my sheer delight, and the comfort that we share now cannot be found with might. She comes softly to my pillow, and from eve to daylight's birth, brings me joy and heartful meaning. She's the greatest girl on earth. Heart. Time again, it's still upon my sleeve be worn, a chance to break again. How can my life be shattered with malice cast aside, yet hope still spring eternal from somewhere deep inside? No, I cannot forsake love, to live in dismal gloom, with its eternal darkness, my soul an empty room. So I will wear it proudly upon my sleeve it rests, a symbol to eternity that I will seek and quest. Oh love, this is about the 80-year-old. Our bodies aged and withered may seem old and or dried, but our spirits full of happiness dwell youthfully inside. Oh love, it has found us, has given us its gift, supplanted all our weariness with verve and joy and lift. So watch you all our children with joy and sheer delight, as wiser people. Life is for the living, our joy is without bounds, as we decide to marry upon these very grounds. Now life is not always pleasant, so this is Celtic Curses. Now listen to me carefully, man, and don't you mess with me. My family are of Celtic folk, both men of land and sea. We've often been a peaceful lot, give up to your ground, but pray to heavens that you don't push one of us around. Our curses can be gentle, the kind that last and last, or they can be so harsh you wish your life would soon be past. No, don't you mess with Celtic folk, though seldom do we seek the kind of rack and ruin that our curses they can wreak. Your life will end in tatters, your happiness be gone, upon our father's souls this action will. So listen well to me, good man, and better you best be. Crossing our last mile with Celtic folk, but learn to humor me. I'm going to finish up with a trilogy. Each poem was written about 2 to 3 years apart. I started off when I was dreaming of an ideal. It's called Somewhere She. Well, somewhere she is waiting, with starlight in her hair, or basking in the sunshine, wishing I was there. Her face is lost in shadows, but still I see her form. She moves in graceful wonder as she arises every morn. Well, somewhere she is waiting, wondering when I'll come, transform her life with laughter. I'll be her only one. Oh, I am here and waiting, through sun and windswept day, dreaming I will find her to whisk her heart away. A couple years later, I did the other side. Somewhere he. Oh, somewhere he is waiting, a complex man of worth, standing with great patience as he seeks me on this earth. I see him as a shadow. The sun shines from behind, a form to make me quiver. Excitement fills my mind. Well, somewhere he is waiting, wondering where I'll be. Transform his life with laughter, the only one for me. Well, I am here and waiting through sun and windswept day, dreaming he will find me to whisk my heart away. And then a few years later, success. Somewhere we. Oh, somewhere we are waiting with hearts and hands entwined, sharing all the sunsets, our searching left behind. We share our time together with sunsets glowing bright, walking towards a light. Oh, somewhere we will journey, not caring where we be, our lives transformed with laughter. Together, we're happy. We. Yes, we are here and sharing through sun and windswept day, dreaming both together. Our hearts are swept away. if you're looking for my book in the library, this is what it looks like. Just this thing. Thank you very much. I appreciate your patience.
Thanks, Pop Pop. Did you plan the whole discarding the poem as you finished?
It's easier than trying to stack it neatly and then get on to the next one. So,
Got to pick them up now.
So, Mael Brigde. I'm not sure if he's gone. Mael Brigde is a Vancouver poet and author, and also a very old friend. She's one of those people that put me in my lane. We, a couple of us had the pleasure of hearing her at the Port Moody Writers Group as she was, writing these poems, bringing them to class, saying, "So what do you think?" And I'm just like, how am I supposed to get feedback on that? And every once in a while, because it's been a few years, every once in a while I drop her an email saying, "Is it done yet? Is it done yet?" And finally, she sent out a brief email to say that her latest project, Bridget of Ireland Devotional Sun and Among Stars, is coming out in September. So we're all very excited. She was part of the project of the New Beginnings and actually helped edit some of the poems. She's been around both Port Moody and quite active in Burnaby now, a little bit more so, but we're happy to bring her back today. Mael Brigde.
Hello. So yeah, I was in Shadbolt and Kyle. People know me as Casey Wolf, but Mael Brigde is my devotional name. So this is my book about the saint goddess that I am devoted to, and I'll just take it away. So some of these are about the goddess and some are about the saint, and I'm not going to explain, so you'll just go with the flow. So triad. The three who strengthen the smith, guide the healer, set the poet afire. These are Bridget. The three who shriek, who weep, who hiss. These are Bridget. The three surrounding Shenecha, poet and judge, Brig the cowless, Brig of the judgments, Brig the hospitaller, Bridget, one and all. So that actually was about the goddess. The next couple are about the saint. Womb blessing. Bridget, may your fertile well heal my empty womb. Children to cheer me, to work beside me, to carry me when I fall back to your earth. A blessing on your nets, as in fishing nets. Tiny turbaned winkle, shrinking like a mouse. Me and all my brothers in corners of your house. A blessing on your nets we bring. We wither and we die. A blessing on your nets we bring, but we'll not cry. Birth blessing. A brat is a mantle, like a shawl. Your brat to shield my womanhood, your well to make me bloom, your girdle to ease my burden, keep me safe, your mantle to lighten my labors when the final hours are come, and bring my willing, worried breasts to leak. I was awake all last night, so at about 4:30, I finally thought, oh, well, I might as well go through the poems. So that's what I did. And at that time, it took 7 minutes to read them, but it'll probably take like 4 now. Song of Bridget. I am a currach riding deadly swells strong, sure as a whale's back. Rest with me. I am a brook smoothly winding, slitting earth and rock. Drink of me. I am the sound of standing stones, the spear that halts destruction. Endure with me. Brandish me. Who holds the flame within the pool? Who invokes the poet's spark? Who heals and fells with words, forges sword and cauldron both? I am the fullness of life. Born of light, I wed the darkness. I am three, I am one, a wind-stripped cairn above the lake. Know my mystery. Stand with me. It is funny not being able to see you all. Held. I lay my head against your naked breast. Ah, soul, I am at rest. Do not stir. Breathe, only breathe. Your warm skin is my perfect bed. How many years since I have rested so? Breathe, mother, only breathe. Consolation I thought I could not know. Sleep eludes me. Life eludes me. I am shattered to my core. And here you are. I lay my cheek against your naked breast. I do not stir. I do not sleep. I rest. Ah, my soul, I rest. And this is the last one. Invitation. Come visit me, Bridget. The cat will yield you the comfy chair, raise his head for your benediction. I'll pour hot, bubbling water over mint, pull back the curtains, slide open the door, let in the cool garden air to refresh you. You can be yourself, goddess, saint, or some unexpectedly ordinary woman with tired hands, with chipped and missing teeth. We can muse together over the demands of tending a hearth in modern times. You can have my bed. I'll sleep on the camping mat. There's so much I'd love to learn from you, how it all unfolded, how it looks to you now. Or we could just be quiet, enjoying the night and the sound of distant cars on the rain-wet road.
I can see in the chat you already have a fan, Mel.
Oh, good.
So Karen was asking what the title of the book was. So, Bridget of Ireland devotional, Sun Among Stars.
Right.
Happy to say, actually, her and I will be doing something together June 26th on the Writers in Their Midst Facebook page. You can check out that Facebook page, and there'll be more details there. I shouldn't say her and I. She'll be doing most of the work. So I met our next presenter, Dr. Lily Liu, at the Off the Page Writers Group. She doesn't always like it when I call her doctor, so I hope she's okay with it because she earned that title. It's her humility. Her and I both got to practice our presentation skills at Off the Page. If any of you guys are watching, thanks a lot. Dr. Lily Liu is a researcher, instructor, writer, and a Chinese medicine specialist. She's working on a book, actually, of like some of the Chinese herbs that are actually in BC. And I keep telling her to write the big publishers because they would love to hear this book. But today she's wearing a different hat. She's going to be reading some of her poetry. Take it away, Lily.
Thanks, Erik, and thanks Port Moody Library for the opportunity. I'm going to share several of my short poems tonight. I enjoy walking on forest trails. Nature is beautiful, magnificent, and in harmony. So my first poem is called In the Forest. Moss hanging from trees absorb the green sunlight. Daisies blossom silently despite being trampled. A crow scream overhead, spread alarm in the air. A eagle flies away, the wind within its wings. Murmurs of falling leaves, rumors in birds' language. A snail climb on a rock, carry a heavy secret. Time woven into spider's web, history written in trees' annual rings. The legacy of 4 seasons are collected. All things have reconciled. My second poem is about a memorial. The Wheatland Veteran Memorial in Washington, D.C. was designed by Lyn E, a Chinese-American architect. Her memorial design doesn't emphasize on heroics, but on tragedy and unbearable sense of loss, as she believes that life is above the sacrifice. She has changed our understanding of monuments and how we see sacrifice and patriotism. A memorial. I walk along the triangular black granite wall, engraved with 10,000s of soldiers' names. A suffocating silence, bone-chilling reflective light. I hear the persistent cries beyond reach. There must be love for those to dream. Sorrow comes from afar. Imperishable souls ascend to heaven, permanent damage left on the earth. The war was over, but the wound cannot be healed. In bloody sunrise, I search for the truth. The next poem was triggered by an old photo which brought back memory of my youth and someone I lost. It's titled, There's One Page for You. A photo slips out of an old book. The dust rises slowly from the ground. I saw a picture of our youth, your young, smiling face. I have put the past in the dark, in a closed flower, in an old porcelain vase, in a locked jewel. But the memory of our youth is an aroma in the spring, a breeze in the summer, a flavor in the fall, a flame in the winter. I looked at the river under the moonlight. The youth, like running water, has disappeared. Thousands of feelings overflow. Our past is condensed into one poem. Nature has its cycle. When spring comes, the world is beautiful and dynamic. My master poem is called Oh, Spring Has No Age. Faded moon lingers in distance. A girlish pink sky appears in dawn. Dense fog disperses in the sunrise. The mountain becomes vibrant. Crocus, tulips, and the narcissus dance gracefully in morning breeze, as if rainbow falling in the world. Camellia, rhododendron, and hellebore grandly debut, a wonderful play about to be staged. I hear buzz of bumblebees, birds chirp on trees. Geese cross the sky with joyful sound. Mandarin ducks swim across the layer of ripples. Spring breaks the silence of the earth, awaken tender feelings in weary heart. Reincarnation and rebirth endless. Oh, spring has no age. That's all.
That was a beautiful last line, Lily. You punctuated it, the entire performance, really nicely.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know at our writers group, they often tell both of us, in our presentation group, they often tell both of us to slow down. So I'm glad you listened because your pacing was great. Whereas I seem to be speaking through your bios today. So next is Lyn E. She's a prolific writer, penning both poetry, short stories, spiritual books, energy healing manuals, and her memoir. I lost count. Is it like 43 books or so, Lyn?
Yeah.
She's an avid reader and enjoys dabbling in the arts. Her painting is actually the cover of New Beginnings, where she also contributed both stories and poems in it. So it's my honor today. I should also mention her book, Fragments of a Shattered Soul Made Whole, is now for sale worldwide in many popular formats. I don't think it's at White Pine, so I'm going to have to talk to you about that.
That's next.
So my friend, Lyn E.
Thank you, Erik, so much. Hi, everyone. So wonderful to listen to other people's poems. I've really enjoyed them all, and I'm making my little comments for you to read. My name is Lyn E, born and raised in New Westminster. Yes, not too many of us. Lover of words since I was 8 years old. Each of my poems are little stories which give a glimpse into my thoughts and my psyche. I'll be posting these poems on lynair.com. Soul Power. The trees haven't broken, they bend in the wind, and the gulls haven't crashed to the sea. The waves that have run along gold sandy shores will continue for eternity. While I and my love sit in contented peace amidst passions of water, earth, air. We watch our own fireball sink out of sight, aware that we both really care. About all life that graces this planet called Earth, fellow mammals and fishes and birds. As he tries to capture it pencil to sketch pad, I try to write it in words. All the love that we have to give out to others will always come back to us. For the living and laughter, the joys and the tears, love of family and friendships and trust. It is out there just waiting to be enjoyed. I'll remember to bend like the tree and fly like a seagull, then soar like a kite and be powerful just like the sea. Racing Thoughts in Oregon. These are 4 little poems strung together. The ocean paints a still life in rock and sand and shells, reminds us of times gone by, blue seas and salty smells. The lighthouse stands as sentinel, leads all ships safely on, through life's choppy waters and moments glorious gold. Upheaval catastrophic, crashing, crushing all, it still goes on deep within our tiny fire core ball. The small boys run, outrace the tide, filled up with a powerful surge, one half brave, the other half scared, dichotomy of urge. You see it, you notice, Larry, I'm not tossing him on the floor. Love's journey. He and I have set a course on uncharted waters. He is my anchor, and I am his sail. We watch the sunrise and go to sleep for the day, weaving the illusions we must to survive. Then we awaken at sunset in each other's arms. We come alive as we refresh ourselves with love. Slowly, carefully, we spin our dreams, our hopes. Into the night we go on our big boat, our homemade cocoon. We fly up to the stars and consider how it was before time began. We dance and twirl and cast rainbows about. We theorize, hypothesize, sympathize, and floating toe to toe, we talk and talk. Our ideas and breath intermingle, then flow away from us, attached to a silver cord. They go on and seek out like minds. Ballerina. I'm not a ballerina, trapped in a jewelry box, spinning, always spinning, ever searching for the locks. I'm free to make another choice, to make my dreams come true, and sing and play and dance away entire nights with you. When morning comes, the sun is warm upon the flowers and trees. They grow and reach and stretch way up to feel the soft, cool breeze. That's how life feels, not trapped within a box of space and time. To laugh, be free, and truly see what makes this world sublime. Ensnared no more, I'm free to go and march to my own tune, fulfilling inner prophecies and ancient written tomes. Escaping gravity. I have run and raptured by the movement of my body, didn't feel my feet touching the ground. I have danced, dreams answered by the music, joy fulfilling, uplifting, transported, flying around, and made love, being captured by the web, cast by delight, enthralled, released from earthbound, known great freedom in every chapter, escaping gravity, traveling with spirits, angels, my soul, only a pound. Looking forward, cells scattered into next part of my journey without a physical harness dragging me down. Cycles. Troughs created, breaking foam, miles of ocean on sand roam. All that was here is here. How? Changing matter then to now, and now to then and back again, recycled into this and that. There's nothing new under heaven on earth. It's all that is from death to birth and up and down and out and in, through cycles many end begin. In crashing surf and seagulls fly. There's no such thing as live or die. It all is here. It's never gone. It separates and comes to one, the same and changing ever be, from past to present, eternity. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thank you.
I always tell you, Lyn, that I love your reading voice, and I'm going to say it again publicly.
Thank
I love
you.
your reading voice.
Mm.
It's so
Appreciate
calming. I know on your website you've got some like meditation
Yes.
poems.
I've got dozens of meditations and one song, Dona Nobis Pacem, which is Let There Be Peace. And that's my jam. And I'm writing a murder mystery.
I did write a murder mystery. I did mention that one. One of the darkest ones I've ever read. I don't know where it's coming from.
Some days you just have to kill someone.
Keep it in prose. Our next reader is Gerry Bradley. Again, I've also known him for many years. He also is a contributor to New Beginnings. I was very, very happy to have a minute. Also know him from the Port Moody Writers Group, and I've been enjoying his poetry for many, many years. He was born and raised in Prince Edward Island before moving to BC. He spent 34 years working in community mental health in Vancouver's downtown east side. So very honorable job. Thank you very much. But he's now recently retired, gets to put on a new hat as the poet. He lives in Port Moody with his wife, Sasha, and their dog, Roxy. And Gerry's recent book of poetry, Playing with Dolls and Other Poems, is currently available. I believe he's selling it out of his garage, so you have to contact him directly at gerrybradley18@gmail.com if you'd like a copy. Take it away, Gerry.
Thanks, Erik. And thanks, Erik, for setting this whole thing up. And it is so nice to be together with so many poets. I don't know if this ever happens in real life. Like, I don't really think I've ever been around so many poets. Anyhow, here we are. My book of poems, Playing with Dolls and Other Poems, I'll read a few poems from there. They're mostly poems about growing up in PEI. So they're about, the farm, living on a farm, small town life. But I've also been around, traveled quite a bit. I spent a lot of time in Ireland. I'm very interested in Irish writing, the Irish language. And then in Vancouver, as Erik said, I worked most of my life in Vancouver in community mental health. The first poem I'll read is, I think it's quite apropos now that the Montreal Canadiens are doing so well, for those who follow hockey. When I was young, in Charlottetown, Lent and the playoffs occurred at the same time. And to us boys, we were all altar boys and we were all hockey players. And it was like the two great morality plays came together at the same time. The great morality play of the Passion and the great morality play of usually the Canadians against whoever the bad guys were. Anyhow, and we would, every night after school on our street, the street would be alive with kids with hockey sticks, playing street hockey. And we had one street lamp on the street, and we would play until we could barely walk home. So anyhow, here's a poem about those times. It's called 2 Cups of Lent. 2 Cups of Lent. Those 40 nights as snow recedes, revealing low spots of earth, venial transgressions on whiteness. And the earth is raised, smelling of leavened clay, a vinegar-sodden sponge. Father Bobby puts the ash on our foreheads and raises the cup high gloriously. Those 40 nights as snow recedes, dropping its day's work in upon itself, we take to the streets with our sticks and our nets, the ever little bit of ever lingering light, a shivering portent giving us hope that the Habs will win the cup again this year. Those 40 nights as snow recedes, a yellowing shroud, a plain song of drops, our blades worn sickle thin from so many slap shots, the tennis ball worn patchy now, a drunken scourger's bristly chin. We dig in the corners, we fire from the point, we take the body to disdain the blood and fall back into snow angels only to ascend as Bellevaux, Cornouailles, the pocket rocket, raising the cup high gloriously. So street hockey was very important. Prince Edward Island, as I guess it is everywhere. I'll read the title poem of my book, Playing with Dolls. And this is a poem about two old friends. They've lost touch. They were friends when they were very, very small. And one friend, of course, hears some news about the old friend. And usually when you hear news after a long time, it's never really good news. So the friend is moved to the city and he hears this news, this bad news, and he thinks about the time when they were young and how they used to play with dolls together. Playing with dolls. Word of a requiem looking for your star has found me here in the new lands of pop-up towers and laptop lunches. And hearing of this, I think of how we used to play with dolls. Not in dress-up or the tattling of secrets, but trailing clouds of stories whispered we could only later know. You, the great impresario of pretend, the magician of all scenes big and small. Shouldn't you boys be outside throwing a ball around? Your father's voice would come, a croak, from behind his newspaper wall. How did you know all of this back when we were so young, still sleep warm in pajama bottoms, playing low where the wood heat tries to hug the floor? How could you have roused these dreams without even a note for reference? The bound man, the rainbow bridge, the merciless storm, the changeling child, and you would say softly, you and me. I hope you boys are going to pick all that stuff up, your father would say, disquiet, the smoke in his pipe. When you have lived all the grand stories beneath the formica table heaven and the warm linoleum earth, how could you settle for the small portions of an ordinary life? You who were once the flower of the playground, the honey of the palisades, money for the ferryman, the startling betrayal, the wise fools, the prodigal, and the watery descent to the underworld. Wasn't that one of your favorites? Your sister is going to kill you when she sees what you boys have done to those dolls. Your father's voice would come sputtering, like the worn-out radio he listened to. Your father now, they say he is not the same. A crumbled wrapping of his old self, easy chair self. For maybe he felt the joyful deceits of the players from beneath his paper and radio world. And now that the smoke has cleared, the graves all dug, heroes gone on to the other worlds, and foxgloves piled on the old lands, might he know that this was all laid out before him through endless time on the kitchen floor with still no note for reference. Anyhow, yes, when I was young, I used to play with my sister's dolls, and she was always really upset because they got pretty hard treatment. Anyhow, back on the East Coast, where I come from, it's a large community. We're predominantly Irish people. Most of us have been in the area since the 1840s, since the potato famine. Potato famine is just common knowledge with us. It's something we've always known. Maybe not so much in this part of the world. But anyhow, there was a very famous ship called the Lady Constable. And it arrived in Charlottetown Harbor in the summer of 1847. And it was, in retrospect, the classic coffin ship. Many of the people died on the way over, and they were put overboard. And when the ship landed in the harbor, it was quarantined. Many of the people had typhus. And there was a local mental hospital, newly built in Charlottetown. At that time, they called it the Insane Asylum. And they cleared it out so that the people in the ship could be brought to the hospital. And anyhow, many of them were. Some of them died there. Some got better. The incident also triggered an epidemic in Charlottetown, and many people from the town ended up in the same hospital. Anyhow, I won't read the whole poem. I'll just read a couple of stanzas as it is a long poem. May 27, 1847, mid-Atlantic, aboard the Lady Constable bound for Prince Edward Island, Canada. 21 days since we first sailed into the West, the brother, the mother, me, and 200. No gangplank goodbyes for us. And how soon we miss those dirty fat gulls that chased us for a whole day beyond Arran shores, their cries shrill, mocking, fathoming only their own hunger. We could only stand speechless and watch on stick legs, gray cadavers, potato bed breathes. A man from Donegal with no English caught one with a fishing line and gave it to the woman for the gruel. Carca na farag, sea hen, he croaked through broken teeth, still stained with paddy green. When you are half dead, they say you don't feel the cold. Not so the restless heaving, constant creaking, and the wind hags mouthing audible curses as if envious of anything living. 2 whales surfaced off the bow this morning, snorted and dived, shiny, gray, and disinterested in the bobbing corpses trailing our vessel. Those bodies, wild geese streaming into the watery world of the salmon of bottomless knowledge, without wings, without gills. Last night, the man who slept next to me on the top bunk died. He might have been a man of the land, a farmer, a mighty man in a better day. He lay so solemnly, his head encased in a halo of retreating lice, gray little stowaways, all trying to jump ship, and he a saint in the same stained glass window. We wrapped him in a blanket and filled his pockets with good Ulster stone, brought aboard as ballast, so the Belfast tar told us. As we lowered him down, I wondered if he dreamt of the barley and a fairer wind to shake it. Anyhow, as I said, it's a long poem. I'm going to stop there. And yes, so if anyone is interested in reading my book, they can contact me, Gerry Bradley 18 at gmail.com. And yeah, Erik, thanks for the opportunity to read, and thanks to all the other poets for putting up with it.
I think the other poets are fine with it. Gerry, that last poem's not in Playing with Dolls, is it?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's the last poem.
Yeah, I was going to say that you have to buy the book if you want to hear the ending. Classic marketing, Gerry.
It's just too long.
I think we would have listened. As I said before, most of the poets, all the poets I've met once or twice before. But Kasturi Ghosh is a new face for me. So I'm glad that Sadie introduced us, I guess, in this circumstance. She's an international trade consultant by profession and a wordsmith by compulsion. There's poetry right there. I love the bio. Her career has let her live on multiple of continents and to visit a score of countries, allowing her to observe the intriguing cultural diversity of geographies and the common thread of human emotion that binds us all. She lives with her spouse in Port Moody and has published a book of poetry called Parched Paper, a Tapestry of Words. Kasturi Ghosh.
Thank you. It was so very nice to spend this time, though virtually, with you all. And I'm really looking to probably sometime in the near future, we can all probably meet up over a cup of coffee and do this face to face. So I will be reading three of my poems today, short ones. The first is to spread awareness about the discrimination faced by immigrants and spread the message of inclusivity. It's titled No Man's Land. They came and stood in queues as we drew a land line in God's undivided land and called it ours, labeled them migrants. They came and stood bereft of emotions, hunger-ravaged and dry-eyed, robbed of tears that had long been spent. They came and stood with children, similar to our own. Ours would sleep in a warm bed tonight and wipe away a crust of bread from their mouth. They came and stood in silence, for the screams had lost their relevance, their voices had gone hoarse, and their sunken eyes screamed silent desperation. They came and stood with unease, with hands that had never sought anything, proud, capable, dignified, reduced today to seeking, needing, wanting. They came and stood with slates wiped clean, shards of happy memories gnawing, drawing blood. Fragments of laughter ringing in their ears, love and land ripped away by the hands of fate and man. They came and stood in suspended animation, without a past or a future, uprooted, displaced, without yesterdays or tomorrows, robbed of space and time. They came and stood in no man's land, with no paper spelling entitlements, no land to claim, no language in which to converse, thrust into the unknown of soul-erasing oblivion. Come, stand in their shoes, walk barefoot in their path, come recognize they are us, come wipe away those lines, the lines in your hearts, the lines in your minds, the lines in your lands, the land that was never yours to claim. Wipe away the tears, wipe away the angst, wipe away the pain, and recognize your eyes staring back at you from another face. The second one is called World of Likes, and through it I'm seeking to talk about the impact that social media has brought into our lives. It's a short one. It's called The World of Likes. From when you wake up, you sleepwalk all day, catering to social media and what others have to say. Likes shape your sense of self, loves brighten your day. Where have you left behind your sense of worth that needs validating each day? Joys double if shared, I know, but sorrows are also halved. If you must share yourself, shouldn't bad days play a part? Be true, be real, be anything that brings you joy. Just know it's good to switch it off at times and live like days gone by. When you came home and shut the door and reclaimed your space, when you laughed and ate in privacy and thought that was God's grace. Hug your joys close to you, capture moments with naked eyes. Know that it's the only life you'll get. Sense of self doesn't need selfies to come by. And the last one is a sentiment which most of us need in these trying times. It's called hope. It may seem endless today, but take heart. As sure as changing seasons, my friend, the clouds will part. Take a deep breath today. Look into the mirror and smile. Upheavals are a sure sign of change, and this too will pass in a while. Take the lessons to heart. Let not the teachings be in vain. Surely when dark clouds gather, it's followed by life-giving rain. We will all be okay if only you reach out today to check if anyone is struggling and needs you to go through their day. Keep aside the politics, the skin color and geographies. There are bigger things at stake. Avoid spreading dissent and hate. Wake up, breathe, and go about your day. In spreading peace and calm, you will pave a new way. And when you have done all you could today, rest a while and deal with tomorrow as another day. You don't have to solve it all, nor provide answers or expound theories tall. All you need to do, I'll say, is to make someone feel better today. And on some days when you review, you may realize that someone could be you. Thank you.
I didn't have a timer, but you probably could read one or two more poems if you'd like. I would say you're 3 for 3. Those were 3 beautiful poems. So thank you very much. Out of curiosity, is your book Parched Paper at White Pines?
It was at White Pines last year when I last visited, so I'm not too sure about now.
I'm gonna have to take a look. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I haven't actually met Karen Hein. We both presented at the White Pines Gala just a couple of months ago, and it's currently on the YouTube channel, the Port Moody Library's YouTube channel. I was just watching it again today. She is she's been writing poetry since grade 4, and working towards her dream of being a metaphysical, spiritual guidance life coach. She's been a motivational speaker for the Smoking Cessation Group and benefits of working and volunteering. She believes in that mental wellness is possible for everyone, and I've read her poems, and her poems show that. Karen is working on her memoir, another book of poetry, and her journals. She resides in Port Coquitlam and is surrounded and supported by her friends and family. Take it away, Karen.
Thank you, Erik. It's nice to be here tonight. I believe my books are still in the library. I have 2 books published. One is Inspired Musings, and the other one is Bits, Snippets, and Other Works. So it's available at the library, or you can go to my website, which is KarenHeinPoetry.ca, and you can find my books on there. So anyway, I'm a dreamer, and I'm inspired by nature and life, and all 4 poems that I'm about to read are found on my website. And so let's get started, I guess, eh? Okay, so the first one I have is called Seeking Perfection. The perfect day starts with the perfect moment that your perfect smile brightens up your perfect eyes. And the perfect words come out perfectly as time ticks with perfect precision into the perfect ending of a perfect night that leaves me feeling perfectly in the most perfect way. I have found perfection. Okay, so the second one I'd like to read is called Busy Little Black Ant. Busy little black ant, under your heavy load, where does your steady trail take you? The tree's roots are where your family lives. Colony teamwork has built a network of winding tunnels and gaping miniature caverns far beneath the ground. There you raise little rice-like eggs that are the next generation's diligent members of the community. I watch and learn as you go about busy errands, oblivious to the giant world about you. Your little empire rules. So the third one I've got here. So the second that one I just read, I wrote that in college at a poetry course. So the next one I'm reading is my first attempts at rhyming poetry. I'm just getting into it. I'm new at it. So it's called The Inspiration of Creation. Poetry is the inspiration of different colors of creation that blends and swirls into little curls of painted spots, of which there are lots. Words and pictures cast similar lures, with images caught with every thought, and songs of rhythm bring much precision with a 4/4 beat that really moves the feet. Okay, and then this is another one I wrote. This one's called Never Give Up. Never give up, although things seem bleak. Trust in your truth, it will see you through the week. To new times and faces in many different places, as the world waits to meet and greet the dawn's new day and the moon's nighttime graces. May adventure overtake you and put you at peace, from stresses that presses on upon your well-being streak. So that's all I had picked out today. That's all I have today. I could read you this one too. This one's called Line Up at London Drugs. I've got what I've came for, cover up, cat food, and my weekly mags. Now, which line to choose? Tills 2 and 6 are open. It would be smart to go to the smallest lineup, but then I look at till 2 and the first person has 50 or 60 tidbitly little things to ring through. I decide on till 6. Such slow service. The lady in front of me smells like she's been sampling perfume. After a patient, long, dull wait, the till flashes, whirs, and dings, and it's finally my turn. The board cashier goes through her automatic spiel. LD extra card, bag, debit or credit, so many questions. Just give me my order and let me get out of here. As I finally step out of the confines of the overlit store, I feel freer and able to breathe again. However, I will probably go back next week for another joyful experience of standing in a London Drugs lineup waiting to pay.
So it looks like we may have lost Erik temporarily, but thank you so much, Karen. That was wonderful reading, and thank you so much for sharing your poems with us. So I do believe that there is one final poet that we have reading tonight. So I think that I do have the bio here, so I'm happy to read it out. Oh, there we go. I think we have Erik back here. Just give me a moment. Hello, Erik. Welcome back.
I can't wait till we can do this in person again.
I know. Much
This
less
internet is
technical
killing
things.
me. I'm on my phone now.
I will pass it back to you then to introduce our final poet for the evening.
Sorry, I'm going to have to find your bio here, Sarain.
While you're doing that, Erik,
read it, the romance
you got it?
And he's reading again for poetry because he's a brilliant poet. So, Sarain Frank Soonias is a Cree Anishinaabe writer residing in Vancouver, Canada. He recently helped his younger brother create the forthcoming Frank Gypsum show for television and currently has a short script in pre-production. Sarain enjoys songwriting and occasionally performing stand-up comedy. Poems of his initial collection, All Wrong Horses on Fire That Go Away in the Rain, will be featured in the Shrapnel magazine, Carousel magazine, and Hems review. Are they out yet?
Should have sent you a new bio. There's a bunch of new magazines picked me up, so it's going pretty well.
Great, a total up and comer.
Yeah, we'll see. Before I start, can I ask a quick technical question? If I read off my computer, is that going to mess up the camera, or like, is that okay?
I've been reading off the computer all this time.
Okay.
Mine did just crash, so maybe that's bad advice. Good luck. Okay, well, I'll get started, and someone can just like message if something's wrong, and I can see that. Yeah, just thanks for having me, and I'm not a poetry person. Like I read poetry, a book when I was 8 years old, and it meant a lot to me. It was the guy I was named after was a friend of my dad's, but I've never really read poetry. So listening to you folks talk tonight has been really nice because it kind of take the time to slow down and actually imagine what you're saying is kind of nice. So, all right, I'll try and plow through this. So yeah, this one's about my grandma, my Kokum, my mom's mom, who passed away when my mom was 7. You can never protect them all forever, but you can love them when the land is quiet
and the only sound is a gentle waterfall being heard and felt from a different time and space. Your eyes will be open to stars, and you will know they're all okay. Good mother, they always have been, and your love for them will remain. There are children in your memory, they're safe, and your love for them will remain. That's the first one. I'm really uncomfortable reading poetry. I haven't done stand-up in a long time, but with stand-up, it's just, you just feel so free with poetry. It's like you have to read the words, and it's really uncomfortable. This one, well, I did all my writing when I had a crazy mental breakdown, and kind of everything that goes along with that. I didn't really know which way it was up, and this was kind of talking about. For a while there, I wasn't. Yeah, it's kind of a weird. Yeah, it's called The Eagle and the Man. It's what is it ever supposed to be? He watches over you with eyes floating atop drafts, not towering. How could I explain it to you? If you believed your towers would show you God, you'd follow them atop somewhere very high. But could you tell the ones of ages what a loft feels like? I feel them watching over me when it becomes very still, and I know there is voices and faces waiting or watching. And the blood running through their veins, creek water sound when the bush is quiet. And I wonder what the eagle sees of me, beginning to walk, to glean as babes would watch the mouth and lips, to create meaning falling upward. Now a simple path in the dark. Just dreams of not mine in his sight who feels the life and death welling in my chest. Quiet water running along between the rock I would walk and step upon. So that one's done. So that was like that. Those two were when, like I hated writing in school. I was an English major for one semester like 12 years ago, and I quit because I just hated it. So those first two poems were when I just started writing like crazy out of nowhere because I was just bored during and also having a complete mental breakdown. So, and then these two ones I just wrote last night. So, so this one's called Falling or Party Planning, and it's just about, it's kind of inspired by a date I went on with someone who had been organizing a wedding reception all day. So the day was long and drab, and I fell for the charm of falling stars, like his kiss would go on and on forever, and only for a moment. The way making a decision, oh God, any decision would turn me upside down, and I'm over it. The arms around my waist and park bench beneath my feet. The birds outside my window, crack of thunder across his lap. The bride and groom from noon till 9, but left my mind. And achy seat muscles numbed, not tired, but numbed, like arms around my waist and air beneath my feet. And our kiss would go on, forever like falling stars. And then, actually, yeah, that was 2 nights ago. This one I wrote last night. I thought I'm trying to learn how to write a short story. So this was supposed to be a short story, but it's like one paragraph. So, and this one's called Children in the Fire, 96. And this was about some pretty rough early teenagers, and I was pretty not having a great time. And this was on the reservation where my mom's from, on the Great Lakes. It was cold in the water, and my heavy, wet basketball shorts clung to my skinny, wet legs, and every open beer bottle was accounted for. What's the deal with heaven if the Holy Spirit already exists in all of us? Questions and double talk, and all the uncles holding their drinks a little tighter around me, half buried already in the dark, rich soil below the red, weathered balcony. The dark, rich soil up from the beach along the shore and the dark trees, where I was born, where I'll go again in time. The flowers peered upward in little groups of sleepy threes beside my empty hands and the hungry hole in my heart. The way there was supposed to be another one of us and a girl, burning brightly in her mother's mind like spirits waiting patiently across the bay with open arms. Maybe I was just the child too, alive and well on the shore near the dark trees, peering across old water at the little pyres burning bright in the distance and bright at my feet. And that's it. That's all I got.
You know what? I said earlier, Sarain, I had to get out of the lane I really encourage you to stay in it. I don't know if you want to try a few different art form or literary forms. Go for it, but don't drop the poetry. You're very good at it.
Oh, thanks.
I think everyone would agree.
Thanks. Yeah. Well, that's how I feel about you guys, so I appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah. My family's currently in a panic because the Wi-Fi is down. They're trying to get my attention. Like, Dad, fix it. I know there are some questions. Sadie, are you here?
Yes, so we had a couple comments that I wanted to share that just came through during the readings. So wonderful readings. Excellent. I can barely write a limerick, so a lot of talent here tonight. Beautiful. And then a question that came through that was open up to everyone. Now, when you're writing the poem, do you find that the form of the poem comes first, or do the words come first and you have to kind of find a form to fit the words once you've written the words? So I will open that up to anyone. Lyn.
Oh, okay, I'm unmuted. For me, it drops into my head and then I have to edit it, but the whole thing comes down at once.
Wonderful. And Elby, I think you had your hand up there.
Yeah, I did. What I find is I write down my ideas, and they're gross. And what I try to do is, like a famous sculptor said once, there's a sculpture in every piece of stone. You just have to get rid of the the emotion by chipping away the unnecessary words like and, but, and all the other ones that are unnecessary, until I finally think I've got it. And then, of course, the reader has to decide whether I've managed it or not.
Wonderful. Thank you. Anyone else feel like they want to answer? Does the form come first? Oh, I saw, I think Mael's hand up.
Yeah. I was just going to say that the sound of the words is music anyway, and so the form or the rhythm, it all comes together, right? It doesn't mean I don't have to do some chiseling, but I never think, what kind of a form? I don't know anything about form. All I know is what I hear in my head, right?
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Wonderful. And I think Kasturi, you had your hand up as well.
Yeah, I was going to agree with Lyn, and actually Mael just resonated the same thing, because for me, I write really quickly. It just literally, as Lyn said, drops into my head. It comes with emotion and imagery, and there is not. I have never thought of form, but it's out of my system really quick. I just type. Probably it takes less than 5 minutes and it's done. So yeah, it just wants to be written down, irrespective of form.
Wow. Fair enough. Anyone else want to answer the question? Yeah, Karen.
Usually when I'm writing a poem, I will just be thinking about nothing at all, and then I'll get like a line of poetry, and then I'll make up another line that rhymes, and then I don't know, I just start writing, and I don't necessarily conform to form unless I absolutely have to.
Fair enough. And it turns out wonderful, so well done. Anyone else want to have any input on how they create their poems?
But I just read a ton when I was a kid, and like I'd be on a first date and we're chatting and the woman would be like, "What are you into?" And I'd be like, "Dialogue," So, and it's just, you could just see their, but like I'm decent at conversation, so it wasn't terrible. But I think that I'm kind of the opposite, where like I said, like I hated anything to do with form or structure. I just found like I call it drifting, but just trying to turn my mind off as much as possible. And I think, I mean, the fact that I never really read poetry was, I think, actually helped because I wasn't worried about what to do. But I do think like now, like I want to try and I want to have a book of short stories. So now I actually have to start learning form and thinking back to all the high school and university stuff I never paid attention to because, yeah. So I think you have to have you don't have to, but I think it helps to have a balance of being able to kind of float out there, but also whether it's intuitive or through education, understand a little bit about structure. So it's attractive to the reader, I think. So,
Thank you. Anyone else have anything they'd like to say in regards to that question, or just anything in regards to how they create their poetry? Kind of what inspires you? What has driven you to write poetry? What has kind of brought you to the point where you wanted to write poetry?
Well, I would like to say that to me, life is all about emotions. That's all it is, really. It's differing emotions. And what I realized is to reduce emotions to words, which is exceedingly difficult, as the rest of my peers here tonight will agree with, I'm sure. And so what I try and do is express feelings into words. That's the most difficult thing, especially in the English language, to do. And sometimes I'm semi-successful, sometimes I'm not. But it's all about making the reader feel your emotion, to me. That's what I try to do.
I like that. That's wonderful. Yeah, Karen.
Well, I was just going to say that I know when I was growing up, and I used to write a lot in high school, and then for some reason I stopped writing until I was in my 40s. And the time between my 20s and 40s, I was so lost without my writing. My writing actually grounds me and makes me feel real, you know?
Mm-hmm. For sure. Oh, that's
I
wonderful.
agree.
Yeah.
Life gets in the way of living, Karen.
So true.
Sometimes I write about
You don't have time for it.
I was just going to say, sometimes I write a poem because I want to understand something more. And I mean, some of that might be research, but some of it is just sort of like when you're outside and you're looking at the pavement and there's an ant walking along and you're just seeing that ant and the pavement and nothing else, right? That's like a poem, you know, just looking at something with that much focus. Because my mind is always like flittering around like this, but for some reason when I'm writing, I'm there.
You're focused.
Yeah.
That's nice. I like that. Lyn, yeah.
And what Mael was saying is about, you know, focusing or going through something. Going through the death of my husband 4.5 years ago, I wrote an entire book of poetry, grief poetry on that. And whatever I was feeling went on the page, just like the poems I read tonight, but with a different topic, the topic of grief. How am I going to get through this? And I did the same thing when my grandchildren were born. I have a book of poems about that. So whatever is happening in life for me, that's what I'm writing about, whatever the main focus of my life is. And I've certainly got a lot of poems about health and nature. Nature inspires and touches my heart every day. And so that's the main focus of most of my poems. So that's how I've kind of experienced poetry throughout my life.
Oh, that's wonderful. I must be nice to have those to look back on as well, and to kind of be able to, I mean, whether it's a good memory or a bad memory, to just have those as mementos of that time and as reminders of what you were going through.
Yes. And what I found is they're all good memories because I can still remember them.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm very fortunate coming on to 70 years old and I can still remember them. So I feel good about that.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Right on, Larry.
Poetry is a cheap way to not have to go to a therapist.
I do that too. Absolutely.
So that's my way of dealing with it. I internalize it and then spew it out in meaningless words sometimes. Some people. But I found in my career as a poet, a lot of poems I don't like. A lot of poems I've written I hate. And I have this website that I went on to back in 2002 or 4 or something. And it was for writers, and it gave you a critique. It's called writing.com. I highly recommend it to any of you. But what I found is that being able to write it down helps relieve the pressure. Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So hard to continually cope with, and usually it's like bang, 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 one after another, and it just sort of hits you in 3s and 4s and 5s. And I found that writing is my panacea. It's my escape from reality. But it also highlights reality and makes me more able to deal with it. And so my poetry, I mean, I'm old-fashioned. I write the romantic. I'm an optimist. All that kind of BS. But it really does fill my soul.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Excellent. Well, I had one last question. If anyone wants to answer, it was so amazing to hear all of your poems tonight. So I'm curious, when you're writing them, do you write them to be read out loud, or do you write them more for yourselves to just to have them down on paper and to get kind of those thoughts down and those emotions down?
Yes. I don't ever think about I don't think about other people when the poems come down. They're just, as Larry says, to relieve the pressure or try and sort something out in my own mind. And, you know, it's not an other-centered event. It's just something that happens. And then if I get a chance to read, I certainly will do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But not all of them.
No, not all of them. I'm very selective.
When I started writing, as I said in my intro, I never expected anybody else to ever read my poems. It was a release for me. And I had an ex-girlfriend from Australia that I sent someone to finally. And she's the one that passed them on to her. And this is the poem recognize Old Love and the fact that an Australian charity for broken homes and all this sort. And she sort of, without my knowledge, passed them along. And I was in the closet as a poet for decades, and never expected anybody to ever read them. And then I sort of got forced into releasing some of them, and then I realized, you know, it was healing. It was healing for me. It was the book I released and finally self-published. My daughter forced me to self-publish it. I ran 50 copies off, but and I've sold like 5 or something. But anyway, it helped release my pain. It helped release my heart, if that makes any sense.
Mhm.
It was like self-healing. I don't know. And I've had, in my introduction, I read a few things where I've changed other people's lives with poems that I wrote for myself, but somehow other people related to it. And that's been a very rewarding experience. To be able to be here tonight with everybody else is amazing to me. I never, in my wildest dreams, ever realized I would ever go public with any of this stuff. It was too cool. It's astounding to me. It's astonishing. I'm overwhelmed, really.
Well, you're committed now because you're on the public library's Facebook page.
That scares the shit out of me, Eric. On this channel, I don't know. It does.
I always believed that poetry was not everyone's cup of tea. And obviously, I wrote for myself. I always say that I don't write because of any other reason, but that I must write. There is, it's a physical need more than anything else. I have to write, right? What is beautiful now to see is suddenly there is such an audience across the board for poetry. And I believe it's a sign of changing times. It's a sign of the fact that poetry is not as structured as it was earlier. It is much more relatable. And though I write for myself, it is really wonderful when people reach out to say that they find resonance in what we say. Just it feels that I am articulating what they would be thinking any which ways. So to me, that is very, very satisfying. But I don't think it is a question of writing for anybody, as everybody here says. You write because you need to write for like one which way or the other, right? Yeah.
I agree 100% with you. And back in 100, 200 years ago, poets were the entertainment of the day. None of us can never make a living out of poetry. I mean, one in a million might, but the rest of us are just trying to do the best we can. And we write because we have to write. You know? Everyone.
I don't think a poet ever wrote to get rich.
Not for 100 years, for sure, Eric. But I find, just like all the rest of my colleagues here tonight, we write because we have to write, because we have to try and express our feelings. And the amazing thing, and I'm sure all of you have realized this, is that regardless of what we write, and I admit this, I don't like a lot of my poems. I think they're shitty. And then I find some comment because I'm on this writing that comment and everything else. And I found poems that I hated, and somebody else found really heart-rendering, you know? And so I don't dismiss any poems right now, even if I don't like them.
And I believe language itself has its own, it's a different way, different form, like any other, the painting, the movie. I think language itself has its own beauty, and the expression, it's not, the good word language, the created work cannot replace by other form of art. I don't remember who said, they said, the poet is the sense of the world. So I think the poetry itself can create, can extend the the human sensitivity to the world. And also because I from a different cultural background, so the culture has thousands of literature history. So the form itself, it's not a conflict with the content. So in certain, the form sometimes guide you to create, the beautiful poem. So I do feel, any form and the content can go hand in hand.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
I'm curious to know, for people who speak two languages, if you write the same kinds of things in both languages, or if the language leads you in a different direction.
I don't think it will lead me to the different direction. It's just have different sensitivity and a different way to express, but they can go together. I think that's why I when I write the poetry, I come to, the both language come to me. So yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting. I speak 4 languages, and obviously English is not my mother tongue. But I had a passion for reading all my life, and so I think in English. So for me, I don't think I'll be able to really do justice to poetry in any other language as much as I can do in this. It's strange, but that's how it is.
Human feelings. I think all the human have something in common. So no matter what kind of background you come from, you have the similar feeling. It's just a different sensitivity or different way to express. So I don't feel the conflict. I think they can in harmony, in the work.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with us unilinguals, I speak petit français and a few words in a couple of other languages, but I don't know how in other languages. To my view, poetry's job is to translate emotions into words. And whatever language you're in, that will be a little slightly different. It's not the words that matter, it's the emotions that matter. And I think my goal is, I call myself pen name Elby Wordsmith. I don't think I'm a wordsmith. It's just what I want to be eventually. And that's the pseudonym. If you can translate emotions into words so other people can feel them, you're a success. And once or twice I've managed to do that, but in other languages it's so difficult because of the barriers that their different languages pose.
I think Lyn's cat's trying to say a few words. In Bella's language.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for sharing your work tonight, as well as sharing all of your inspirations and your thoughts on poetry as well. It has been an absolute pleasure to hear you read and to hear your poetry. And so thank you so much to everyone. And thank you to Erik for once again bringing such a wonderful group of authors and poets together for this evening.
Thank you, Erik.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Erik.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Bye.
Have a wonderful night, everyone.
Bye.